This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good tomorrow, wherever you're tuning in from today. We are set for the Oilers and Maple Leafs at 5 o'clock Mountain Time here on a Saturday hockey night in Canada. It doesn't get much more special than that. And the beauty of this for Oilers fans is today's kind of whole topic of discussion, and same with yesterday's, has not been about, oh, McDavid versus Matthews. It has actually been about McDavid coming home to light it up in Toronto. So that's where we will get into the meat and potatoes of the video. But before we get there, friends, well, maybe if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. I can sell you on a couple of ideas why, but if you want to catch the live stream today to tune in and hang out, you would be able to do that by hitting the subscribe button for free today. Anyway, McDavid versus Matthews. Convenient time to have that discussion, right? I think it's a good little update. We haven't had one of those videos all season long since comparing the top four Oilers players against each other. So let's go over conveniently to the good old Toronto Maple Leafs scoring leaders and see what the Toronto Maple Leafs have been doing so far this season, because obviously they're having a very good year, and there are going to be some proponents for Auston Matthews this year that he has taken a step forward. But for the Edmonton Oilers, I don't think it's much prettier than it could be, right? You think about scoring leaders for the Toronto Maple Leafs: William Nylander, the leader in goals with 33, Mitch Marner, the leader in assists with 56, and Mitch Marner leads in points with 79. So just on the baseline of the base stats, that's what you're looking at right there for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is where we're just going to build the Toronto Matthews angle first, and then we're going to get to Connor McDavid. When you look at this for Auston Matthews, who ranks third in team scoring, a healthy 17 points behind first and a healthy 14 points behind second. His plus minus is pretty phenomenal, 21 at above grade, and shooting 12.3, averaging 19 minutes and 57 seconds per game. But look at this, 29 goals, 33 assists this season for Matthews, who is just barely a point per game player. Now, a lot of folks will tell me and clap back that, well, guess what? Matthews has improved his two-way play, and look at the Toronto Maple Leafs record. They've got 86 points. They got 39 wins. They're such a great team. Well, friends out in Toronto that are unfamiliar with the situation might not know that with a regulation win today, the Oilers would only really be 4 points back of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the NHL standings, the overall NHL standings. So realistically, there isn't much nowadays separating the Oilers from the Toronto Maple Leafs. That is this God squad that gets to the playoffs every year. Guess what? The Oilers have been getting to the playoffs every year here as of late as well. So as we transition over and go to the Edmonton Oilers side of things, and just quickly give the update against Connor McDavid here, is I think for anybody that tunes into Dolynny TV regularly, you would know, well, guess what? There isn't really much of a contest there this year. And there has never really been that much of a contest outside of last year's 60 goal effort for Auston Matthews. But we look at it right now. Connor McDavid, 124 points, 2 times the points that Auston Matthews has. 54 goals, more than 2 times. And guess what? As well, you look at those or almost 2 times, sorry, 54 instead of 29. And you look at those assists, more than 2 times. That's where we're getting. Sorry, I'm watching Patrick's video here on repeat for some reason. I just finished off that before getting on to this morning's video. But Connor McDavid only sitting at a plus minus of 9 and shooting 18.7% and playing 22 minutes and 42 seconds time on ice. So there you go. That's the baseline stats you need to worry about. We can talk about all the fancy stats if you realistically wanted to, but I don't think it serves purpose. More to say then Connor McDavid obviously plays a lot more minutes than Auston Matthews has this year, right? Averaging almost 3 minutes more per game than Matthews has. So, yeah, obviously there should be an edge there. Should there be a 2 times the points edge? Probably not. But for Matthews, I think the big thing that everybody has made note of this year is he has vastly improved his two-way play, which is fair and that's fine. Obviously, to win in the NHL, you need to be able to play defense, and to see Auston Matthews doing that, that's great. But to see the kind of sacrifice that's made against his goal scoring totals and his point totals is kind of baffling to me, that at the end of the day, the Oilers, Connor McDavid, would be able to absolutely run away with this once upon a time 1A, 1B conversation. And it makes me feel really good, because I think for us Oilers fans, we were sitting there years ago saying, man, there's no contest between Matthews and McDavid. And I know still, to anyone as an Oilers fan that would say there never was, stop being silly. I think when something gets shoved down your throat by sports media and sports fans from another market as much as it has, that McDavid is no better than Auston Matthews, realistically speaking, which is what Leafs fans have tried to sell us on. I think at some point you get sick of it, and now being able to see that, no, there is a clear gap, there is something there, that is fantastic. And maybe I'm doing this more so just to rile up some Leafs fans and garner some views on a Saturday morning, but you get the point here. Is it's just one of those things where finally, right, is the old adage of, oh, well, Matthews is just as good as McDavid, is finally coming to an end, and I don't think it should have ever been there in the first place. And for Matthews, you know what, great if he evolves into a two-way player, and I hope, here's the thing, I hope it works out for the Leafs, because they'd like to maybe make it out of the first round. And as an Oilers fan who was obviously struggling for several years there to watch my team try and do anything other than draft first overall, do you not think I wasn't cheering for the Leafs in the first rounds there back in the early 2010s? You betcha I was. Why? Because at least they were getting to the playoffs and the team to watch. So now, you know what? I think the only goal to cheer for the Leafs in the playoffs is for them to meet the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final and guarantee that we were able to bring home a Stanley Cup to Canada this year, 30 years after it last came home. But, of course, that part and parcel is the Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid debate in between there before we get into the playoff rounds and start seeing if that kind of crazy thing can line up. But it's beautiful to see, friends, as an Oilers fan, if you're not happy that Connor McDavid is absolutely dusting Auston Matthews in the scoring race, I don't know what to tell you. You obviously have your priorities as an Oilers fan a little bit confused, because anytime the Oilers can have the leg up on the Toronto Maple Leafs in a rivalry on social media that exists like no other for absolutely seems like no reason sometimes, it's always a good thing. So friends, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. As you can hear, I really don't have it in me this morning. It's been a rough night last night out there, making sure I got home safe from a long night celebrating a good day at work. But before you head out, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, friends, and I will catch you later this afternoon, later this evening, later tomorrow, wherever you're tuning in from, for the live stream. That's going to be an absolute great time. I'm up on out of here.